Namaste and welcome to Yogasan for the rest of us. In this standing series, we will flow through poses that will help build strength and flexibility and also balance and focus. In this sequence, we will assume that you know the names of the poses and I will be cueing you but not describing the procedures to get into the poses. We begin with hands over your head, fold down into Uttanasana, Ardha Uttanasana or halfway lift, Uttanasana or forward fold again. Hold your opposite elbows. Let your head and your hands hang heavy. Swing from side to side and let gravity do the work of stretching you. We will flow through 2 or 3 cycles of forward folds, halfway lifts and ragdoll, where you hold the opposite elbow and swing from side to side. And we repeat again. Letting gravity stretch your body gently while you're in ragdoll. And come up vertebra by vertebra, gently, not rushing it. Bring your hands over your head again. Forward fold into Uttanasana. Halfway lift. Step your right leg back, left leg back and come into a plank, high plank. Flow through your vinyasa, leading with your heart, come into either cobra or upward dog and then into your first downward dog of the sequence. Step back to the top of the mat again. Forward fold, halfway lift and then come up to standing one more time. Bring your hands overhead one more time. Fold forward into Uttanasana. Ardha Uttanasana. Step back into a plank. And drop your knees, chest, chin. Slide your heart forward. Come into a cobra. And tucking your toes, come into upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step forward again, right leg forward and left leg forward. And once again flow through, warming your spine through the forward folds and halfway lift. Lift your hands overhead now and gently bending your knees, come into chair. Cross your leg into eagle legs and bring the opposite hand over to come into eagle arms and come into Garudasana. Bend forward from the waist or from your hips. Release your arms, release your legs and step your right leg back into Warrior One. Or Virabhadrasana 1. Bend deeper into your leg in the front, making sure the knee does not go over the toes. Bend forward, tuck your rear toes, come into a high lunge and bring your hands over your head again, bending a little deeper into the leg in the front. Now bringing your palms together, twist and place your right elbow on the outside of your left knee. Bring your left hand on the inside of your left knee and open out your chest and bring your right hand overhead, taking your gaze upwards. Bring both hands back, down, frame your left foot, tuck your right toes, back into a high lunge. Step back into a plank. Flow through your vinyasa, upward facing dog or cobra, and into downward dog. Come forward into a plank, high plank. And step forward into warrior pose with your right leg in front. Open out now to the left side. Bring your right hand on the inside of your right leg and your left hand up and overhead, taking your gaze upwards. Come back into a high lunge and twist to the right side with your left elbow on your right knee and your palms together in prayer. Come back into warrior one. And step forward. Now let's do eagle pose with your left leg over your right leg and your right hand over your left hand. Lean forward a bit, leading with your hands. I'm having a little trouble with my balance today because of the wind, and my focus is a little off. Always try to ground yourself before you get into any balancing poses. From eagle, we come back into chair again. Root through your toes, ground through your toes and your heel, and then release and come back into standing. From here, ground through your left foot and come into tree, placing your right foot below or above your left knee, never on the knee. Bring your hands to prayer and take them overhead if you can, and if you want to challenge your balance. Keep your eyes closed if you want to challenge yourself even further, and stay here for a couple of breaths. Release your right leg, bring it in front, your knee still bent, and swing back from the hip. Grab your right foot, and your left hand stretched out in dancer. I'm going to do that one more time. And then adjust your block right in front of you so that from dancer you can swing back and come into half moon, opening out to the left side. To the right side, I'm sorry. Release, come back to standing. And then let's repeat the sequence on the other side. Coming into tree with your left foot resting on your right leg, either below your knee or above the knee, or at the ankle like a kickstand. Now grab your left foot with your left hand. Stretch your right hand out in front of you with your gaze forward and come into dancer, balancing on the right leg. Place your block in front of you. Remember to always have your block ready in front of you or next to you so you can use it when you need it. Now hinge down and open up to the left side in half moon, lifting your left leg up and opening it out to the side. Release, come back up to standing. Come into a forward fold again. Step your left leg back, right leg back. Drop your knees, chest, come into cobra, tuck your toes, upward facing dog, and then downward facing dog. Back into a plank. And now, resting on your forearms and lifting your hips a little higher, walk your feet a little closer to your body and come into dolphin. You can bend your knees a little if you like. Drop your knees, come into child's pose. Come back into tabletop, tuck your toes and come into a high plank. Now dropping onto your forearms, resting on your forearms, come into a forearm plank. Plank is also known as Chaturanga Dandasana. Drop your right knee, bend it and stretch your left leg out to the side, resting on the inside of your left foot, and stretch your left hand overhead into a side angle. It's actually also a variation of side plank. Now switch and bend your left knee in front of you and rest on the outside of your right leg. And open your chest, your hands out, splayed. Now stack both your legs and then try to open one leg out. Drop the left leg to the ground. And come back to a high plank. Drop your knees, drop your elbows, take a stretch again in child's pose. And we repeat the modifications of side plank on the other side, resting on the left knee the right leg outstretched. Make sure that your left wrist is below your left shoulder. Adjust it if you need to. My hand is a little out here, far out to the front. So at some point I have to adjust it and make sure that my hand is in straight line with my shoulder. And release. Come back into a high plank. Drop your knees and take a break or flow through your vinyasa, and then come back into child's pose. Choose the level of intensity. Choose when you need to take breaks, and listen to your body. Now coming to tabletop, bring your right leg out behind you and your left hand out in front of you. And now gently circle your left hand back and grab your right foot, balancing on your left knee and your right palm. You can also use a strap to access your foot if you're unable to reach and hold comfortably, and also you can double the mat under your resting knee. Switch and let's do opposite sides. Right hand out, left leg out, and grab the left foot with your right hand. Release, come back into tabletop. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips and come into downward dog. Lift your right leg out and back to the ground again. Right leg out and bend at the knee and to the back. And back to the ground, and lift your right leg again, bend at the knee and bring it in between your palms. Stretch your left leg out, resting on the top of your left foot, and come into pigeon. You can place a block under your right hip so that you can stay connected with the ground. You can either sit tall resting on your palms, or you can bend forward on your forearms and rest your head. Now lift up, tuck your left toes, lift your left knee up, step your right leg out and then on the outside of your right hand, and now come to rest in pigeon. In lizard. So if you can bring your forearms to the ground, then do so. If not, use a block to support yourself, or like you did in pigeon, you can still sit up a little bit higher, resting on your palms. Your left knee stays bent and your left leg is stretched out behind you, and you're resting on the top of your left foot. Now tuck your left toes, step your right leg back, come into a high plank, roll forward, Flow through your vinyasa, whichever way you choose. Tuck your toes, come back into up, downward dog. Now lift your left leg high. Drop it back to the ground again. Lift your left leg high, bend at the knee. Open your hips and drop your left leg down again. Lift one more time and step it in between your hands with your knee bent. So basically you're bending your knee and step in between your hands. And come into pigeon on the opposite side. Choosing how you rest in this pose. As you work your way into this pose, your legs might be really stiff in the beginning, and which it is for me always, but I do try to gently make my leg parallel to my shin parallel to my arms as they are folded, so that I can get a deeper stretch. Tuck your toes and then come out of the pose, come into a high plank. Now once again, stretch back into a downward dog. Lift your leg and then step it to the outside of your left hand, coming to lizard on the left side. Place a block in between if you need to. Drop your right knee and choose at what level you want to rest your forearms. Whether you want them to be on the ground in front of you with your head folded over your arms, or whether you can only access them with a block, which is what works for me. Whatever you choose, remember yoga is all about practice and getting there, and the benefits are reaped while you're getting there. So choose your level and do it right, and your body will thank you for it. Release by tucking your right toes, step your right leg forward and come into a yogic squat or malasana. Bring your palms together in prayer and push your knees outward with your triceps as you push your palms together. Place your palms in front on the ground and straighten and stand up, folding forward, and come back into a squat again. This is a beautiful stretch. Do it a few times at your own pace and gently so. Now gently walk your feet outward with your toes slightly facing inward. Drop your palms in between your feet. Fold forward in a wide forward fold. Bend from your hips and do not curve your back. Now gently walk your hands to the left, bend into your left knee and lift up your right toes. Walk to the other side, gently sitting into your right hip and stretching your left leg out and your left foot out. You can have your toes flexed or pointed. Walk back to center, come back into your wide angle forward fold. Now turn, swivel to the left, to the side, step your legs back and come into a high plank. Drop your knees, chest, chin, slide forward through to cobra or upward dog, downward dog, and then back into tabletop. Now come back to sit on your heels. Place your palms behind you with your fingertips facing forward and gently lift your knees off the ground. This is a great exercise to build ankle strength. Release and repeat again. From here, come to sit on your knees. Place your hands on your hips, then gently at your lower back, lean backwards and come into camel. Only get into this pose if you have a practice in this pose. If not, you can stay in tabletop or child's pose or whatever other resting pose is comfortable for you. Do not attempt this pose if you have never done it before. Release the same way that you went into the pose. Place your hands on the ground, come into a tabletop, take a few cat-cow stretches, and then go into a 5 to 7 minute Shavasana to reap the benefits of your practice. Namaste.